So, my friends, welcome to a new crypto update video. Bitcoin at 177,700 US dollars. Not much change from yesterday. We've broken through our resistance here at the golden pocket by now, but it's not really that impulsive. Even though, globally speaking, we really have some seriously bullish news at the moment. Nasdaq at an all-time high, S&P on its way to an all-time high. Now, in the US, you can use crypto for mortgages and things like that. Everything seems to be going great, and yet Bitcoin still isn't really breaking out, even though the ETFs keep buying. What that could possibly mean and how we might be able to position ourselves now, you will definitely find out in today's update video. But before we get started, tonight at 7 p.m. there will definitely be a live stream here on YouTube, Twitch, and of course also on Kick. I'll post a link for you all in the free Telegram Talk and Signal group. I'll put everything in there, but otherwise, it's always at 7 p.m. on YouTube. And before we start, go ahead and give the video a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Feel free to join the free Telegram Talk and Signal group. And if you're still looking for an exchange where you can trade everything we talk about here, then just sign up with my partner exchange, BingX. You'll find the link for that for free down in the video description. At the moment, there are some nice bonuses to grab here. So, Bitcoin is at 107,700 US dollars. Like I said, it's very, very quiet. There's really hardly anything happening, neither on the 1 hour nor on the 4 hour time frame. The only thing that's going on is that we currently have divergences everywhere, once again, in quotation marks. But we also have a very, very overbought RSI at this point. Much more important, though, let's look at the daily time frame. What does it look like? Yesterday, or rather, during the previous day, we weren't really able to make a higher high here, once again. We swept the liquidity here again. We didn't get a close above that. Okay, that's not really particularly bullish. We definitely need more momentum here to become clearly more bullish. But that still doesn't mean we don't have the chance to at least attack this area up here around 109,000 US dollars and possibly even reach a new all-time high. Because that's what we need to watch for in the coming days, and especially with the weekly close, whether we manage to break through this all-time high at 110,000 US dollars. So, a close this week above 110,000 US dollars would be absolutely bullish. And that's how we have to slowly but surely work our way up, both on the daily and of course on the weekly time frame, to make that happen. What speaks in favor of this right now are the extremely low funding rates. Apparently, there is massive shorting going on against it, which I can basically understand, because I'm not exactly the most bullish person here on YouTube or anywhere else. But the funding rates are extremely low and very, very negative. That means there is massive shorting going on here, and yet the heat map tells us that we only have liquidity up here up to 109,000 US dollars. Below us, it's completely empty. A really, really strange sign. And if we take a look at this on the weekly chart, this was just 2 weeks. It doesn't really look like much is happening there either. That means, in the end, when it comes to grabbing liquidity, we really don't have much of a buffer left up here. You can see it here. This is on a daily view. These are the short-term moves, but the higher we go, the less liquidity there is, plain and simple. On the monthly chart, of course, there's still that 109 to a maximum of 111 in play, but that's it. There's currently no liquidity below us at all. And that worries me a bit, or rather, I find it a bit suspicious, even though of course there are a lot of people here going long. We should definitely keep an eye on that. Otherwise, as I said, there's still the possibility of a small pullback, which you could then use for a long position down here, or at least hope for. What I don't like here is simply the movement itself. It's very, very precise. It looks more like bot activity again, which would also explain why we currently have so little liquidity below us. But well, that's fine by me. The target is around 109,000 up here somewhere, and then we'll have to see what happens next. On a larger scale, we're still inside the range. Let's move on to the altcoins. What's Ethereum doing? With the last 4 hour candle, Ethereum finally made a small move upwards again. It doesn't look too bad. At least it seems like we might be able to reach our target of 2,550 to 2,570 US dollars. That's the first step for now. I'm not moving over just yet. But you could also say that this move is slowly but surely running out of steam. Like I said, we've still got some room up to 2,550, maybe a bit above that. But even here, there's a bit of a lack of volume and so on. You can see it yourself. Volume is absolutely declining. Nothing's really happening on the chart. there's really not much strength in this move either. So just be careful if you're in any positions. Take profits and, just let it run for now. But otherwise, like I said, I'm still a bit skeptical about how much higher we can actually go. Solana, very, very quiet. Here too, we didn't manage to break above our 4-hour resistance yesterday. That means the $148 is still resistance. What was previously support is now, at the moment, this red box here, just a bit of resistance. So here as well, you can see, it's not really textbook and there's not really much movement at this point. Gold has recovered again. The 200 SMA has held once again, I'll just put it that way. Just like it has most of the last times, except for those little fake outs. At the moment, things are looking pretty good, at least that we're heading back up towards $3,380. But here too, there's no movement at all. I have to say, it's a bit too quiet for me, globally speaking, and everything is too bullish. The more we have on the right, the more you can sell on the way up, and maybe then we'll get another altcoin season. But at the moment, yeah, nothing to say. I don't have a good feeling. I don't know. Euro versus US dollar. Euro is still pumping against the US dollar. So that's what we said, that it still looks very, very bullish here. 116 or 116. We've now even reached $1.16. We even went up to 117 euros, so the euro is really strong at the moment. If this continues, then our maximum target of 119, 120 could possibly even be reached here. Honestly, I would even wish for that, so that we could then have this move completely finished and we could switch into correction mode. But those are the most important levels for the next days and weeks to the upside, but whether we'll reach 122, I still have my doubts about that. But the next step would definitely be 119, and then we'll have to see how long they can keep going well. Or whether the Fed might step in and throw interest rate cuts at us. But, that's another topic. We can definitely talk about that tonight in a live stream. DEX, also looks good, or rather is actually holding pretty PFFF cluelessly in this area. The target is up here. That's our short level. Currently no movement at all. Strangely enough, the DAX usually always lags a bit behind. Who remembers that from back in the day? S&P pulled everything up. DAX, was still pretty much down. Then came the DAX rally, while the US indices lagged a bit. Now, in the end, DAX correction, all-time high on the Nasdaq. We already talked about that yesterday. It's not really impulsive, but yeah, well, we've hit an all-time high. Haha. I don't know. You know my theory. I have. I'm waiting for the S&P 500 as well, and there's really not much missing now, especially after we had another little push upwards here yesterday. So, let's take a quick look. So, we're still missing 0.65% here. You know my theory. What I actually want is for everything to reach its all-time high, and right now we're getting that euphoria. The news is kind of going wild. Nasdaq, yeah, all-time high record. If the S&P 500 also follows suit now, that would really play into the cards, meaning to say, wow, everyone is super bullish and then we drop some news and that's it, game over. That's kind of my theory at the moment, but like I said, let's see how it actually turns out. Otherwise, that's it for today. Like I said, things are very, very quiet right now when it comes to the markets, unless some new war news or something else comes up, which, of course, we hope won't happen. Otherwise, I'll see you tonight at 7 o'clock for the YouTube live stream. I'm looking forward to it, especially to your altcoin requests, because I think there's a bit more happening there at the moment if we take a closer look at the altcoins. And that's it from my side. Wishing you a great day. Take care of yourselves. We'll catch up again this evening. Until then, ciao ciao, and as always, stay crypto.